Hey guys, welcome to Euro USD. I'm going to start off with the 4 hour chart before I get into what's going on from Sunday evening until today. I've mentioned multiple times that since April 10th, Euro USD has been consolidating generally in this evolving bull flag. We finally tested it a couple times the past week, and we have finally broke out from it today overnight. Let's get into a 45-minute chart right now. As always, blue lines and white lines are the important levels. Orange lines are just for confluence and profit taking. I'll show you an example of that a little later today, actually. And most importantly, blue lines are more from typically 2, 3 years ago. White lines are as well sometimes, but they're more adjusted based on recent action, and they are constantly changing as well. So moving forward, if you look at a 15-minute chart, um, we finished up my last review stating that on the Sunday open, if we did not sell more, then I expected us to reclaim this above level. If you go into the last video, around 11-minute mark, and watch the end, I exactly stated how one could have entered this setup twice, and here that is. So if we did not go below the low of Friday here and continue to go up, which I assumed we probably would have, I wanted to see price action hit this level and sell before pushing back up, at which point you can go long right above this major level. That's exactly what happened. That went from 1362 up to 1381 for 20 great points. I took that trade. If you missed that setup, I also mentioned a different way was if price goes above and comes back down before going up. Now that didn't necessarily happen, but one could have entered on the drawback with the push here and assumed it was a back test of this breakout. So two awesome ways to enter there. That speaks for itself. And overnight, that trade continued to work. We pushed through this bull flag resistance after testing it multiple times since the last week or two. And currently, I would expect an ideal back test of this area at some point, but we'll get to that more later. When I woke up around 7 o'clock, 6:37, I noticed that we had broken out more overnight. I was happy to see my runner, my little position left for most of my sell here, was very much in profit, and I was looking for some type of volatility or failed breakdown to work with. I wrote this as soon as I woke up. I noticed that we were flagging at 1421 level. You can see sideways selling, as I've mentioned in previous videos. And then the other possible setup would be maybe a dip in recovery of 1400 or a bull flag back test. The dip in recovery would be because we definitely broke out around 2:45, 3 o'clock from this level after testing it. And then we clearly broke out from this major macro level as well as bull flag area. So I was looking for some pullbacks there. If we didn't get it, then I was looking for a nice failed breakdown, maybe of some low set here. So I didn't love anything I saw until around 9:30. We got some volatility where we sold down and recovered a bunch of these lows. So I added to my position up here around 1421, and that worked right away for a big 22 point gain before I sold most of my position. We ended up hitting this level exact and selling, and then offered a back test of this 1421 area for another long, which I did not take. So currently looking at Euro USD on this 15-minute chart, what setups am I seeing? Well, once I do the levels a little bit, the first setups I would notice is possibly a failed breakdown of this low. I would really want it to be either very quick, or if it takes a while, then I'd want to see it stay above, a couple points above this for a bit. Otherwise, there's a low right here that also could be a great failed breakdown, maybe coincide with a back test of this level. So what that would look like is something like, let's say we create a new high here and then we start selling, maybe bounce here a little bit before either tagging this directly, maybe tagging this right here, or getting just below this low right here before resuming up. So that's some of the options we have right now. We are very bullish. It's hard to give you a setup when we're at near the high of the day. I mentioned when an orange line can give you confluence. Well, when I watched this setup, I noticed how we tagged it closely at 6 p.m., Came back, tagged it again. I was watching for a push through. However, we got a sell first, which is actually perfect, and we sold right down to this orange level before pushing off of it. That gave me some confidence because my levels are fairly accurate to go long off of that, at which point that trade worked out great. Gonna go over ES real quick since we have some time. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so this is a 15-minute chart on ES. We opened up Sunday evening without much action. We kind of just lingered above this level for a little while and continued to sell. There was not much to do, so I just went to bed. I was looking for a failed breakdown or a dip in recovery of this 58.77 level, which I did not really get that at the time I was awake. I missed it overnight, so when I woke up, I set some levels and set some setups in myself. I said first, this was not here. I was around this time right here. So I was looking ideally for a couple things. The first setup I was looking for was a reclaim of the 58.92 level. Since we sold from there here at overnight, came back and tested it again at that time, and then started selling back and started coming back up. So one could have gone long on the reclaim right here around 7 a.m. I did not take that. I was just not ready for it. I missed it. I saw we were consolidating for a while. I could have entered. I chose not to. However, I waited for eventual sell, and we did get that. And I wrote down there'd be a fail breakdown potentially at 77 or 70. So we ended up getting it at 77. We dipped below this level and started recovering. So I did get a chance to go long around 84, 85-ish. And that worked out awesome. Since then, we've continued to gone up. We reclaimed 59.13. I considered adding there, but because I already had a position, I didn't want to ruin it. I had a good trade in Euro USD. I kept it the way it is. You can see we hit it once at 9.30, sold down. We hit it again, triggered it at 10.45-ish, and then continued to consolidate, which was very bullish right above it. Sorry, right below it. At which point we took off again, and we've constantly gone up. So ES is also at its high of the day. Not a good time to look for setups. We need pullback to enter anything. The first initial pullback I would love to see is maybe a back test at 59.13, but it's a ways away. So we might just get something like a back test of this 59.35 area before resuming back up. So let's see what's going on. Some good trades today. Please review today's video as well as the end of last video if you really want to understand what a level reclaim is, because there are some great setups of that level reclaim. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4 times this level was tested before going up. This level right here is tested once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times almost before going up here too. So a reclaim is a great setup, especially when we're in an uptrend where it's hard to wait for a sell. So you have to figure out which level is respecting and when you can enter.